My name is Melvin from traveldudes.org, and well, traveldudes is like could we pass that right? That's too quick. Let's try to get to the beginning. All right. So, well, traveldudes is a mix of different things. Traveldudes is like a kind of a blog, a kind of a community, but the focus on an online guidebook. And well, I work with travelers together, tour operators, accommodations, and a lot of travel bloggers. And the idea is really like to create an online guidebook. Well, the logo, the slogan is for travelers by travelers. I mean, you hear that kind of thing like everywhere. But I think what we try is really like to live that, and I think it was very nice. So what we have the tips, the photos on there, videos, diaries, and people really can share their own experiences. It's not about like promoting like a commercial site or something like that. It's really just the focus on travel itself. Thank you. So what I do is, it's very much like how the way I promote it is very much focused on Twitter, because I just love Twitter. I also use Facebook pretty much only because everyone uses it. But I know that here in Romania, I've already heard that a lot of people more prefer Facebook actually. For me, it's always like a bit like, well, people like my page on Facebook, and then I have to pay them that they see my content. I don't know about that. I think Facebook is actually not that social, because in the end, at the moment you put something on Facebook, only 16% see it. And if all the people want to see, or that you want them to see your content, you have to pay for that. That's something I don't really think like with Facebook is not that nicely. And so I really stick to Twitter. That's like how I started, and it's amazing what you can do with 140 characters. And also like, yeah, for example, we've created the travel talk on Twitter, the TTOT. Do you know that one? TTOT? Well, it's a chat where we each Tuesday in the morning and in the evening, so that we reach the whole world, can just talk about travel. And every 10 minutes we have a question, and the community submits it. There's nothing commercial behind it. It's really just for the fun of sharing travel. And I think just with that chat, we already reach like 2 million people every Tuesday. And a lot of people join, maybe like 1,000, 1,500, but many, many more just watch it. They don't know how to participate, they don't know what to share, but they follow it. And then at the end of the session, they say, oh, that was an amazing chat. And I said, where are you from? You didn't, well, you weren't part of it. That's good. So yeah, that's a bit of the background. So what we also do is, being quite successful online and on social media, we get, of course, invited also like to a lot of blog trips, and we run social media campaigns. How many bloggers are in the room here right now? All right, quite a few, cool. How many of you are doing it full-time and make a living just out of blogging? That's good as well. I mean, that's the interesting thing, is like from the background when I started, I'm from Germany. When I started full-time traveldudes, that's like 6 years ago, Twitter was there like 1 or 2 years, but no one knew it in Germany. There was no way really to get into it. That's why I've started everything in English. First it was English and German. I realized you can't really do that on a website, on a professional way. It's always a kind of a mix, it's very tough. So I did it in English. I would recommend everyone right now to blog in your own local language and to start it right now. It's pretty much like the future. I mean, if you start right now into the English market, it's huge. To get into it and to make a living out of it, it's very, very tough. I think like on the local markets to get to do it full-time and professional right now, it's still like a bit tough, but you have to work on it. And I think that's a message I can give you. I mean, for me, there are always like two bloggers. There are the hobby bloggers and the professional bloggers. For the people from the industry, you can work with both, very, very good. But you have to see the professional bloggers, they give you the exposure. But even the hobby bloggers, they have a lot of quality for you. And it's about, well, working in social media, it's about supporting each other and going that way and finding ways to work together. And as a blogger who was really interested to do it full-time, you have to see it as a profession. And you don't just start a business and think that you can make a living out of it after 1 year. You have to take much longer time for that, and not just like 8 hours a day, you have to work a long time. Which is no problem because it's our passion, and it makes so much fun. I mean, my job is to travel and to tweet. I mean, that could be worse. And because like with the bloggers, I think what is interesting, for example, Lindsay, what she does, she works for me and she's amazing in video, and I think that's also like what you can see with the different bloggers. You find bloggers for everything. You've got different niches. You have luxury bloggers, you have food bloggers, you have video bloggers. You have bloggers who are focused maybe on Twitter, on Facebook, on Pinterest, on Instagram. There's just like so many things to do. And at the moment you have a very successful blog. You have, well, the name blog for me already got like a bit of a negative touch because it's so much focus. With Travel News, you can see here where I was invited to just like a different campaigns. I run a big magazine. I've got like 90,000 unique visitors every month. So there's like, compared, I don't know who knows the Focus magazine in Germany. I think the third biggest magazine you can buy. I've just heard it the other day in the radio. They have a publication of 300,000 printed magazines. I pretty much do that on my own. That's where you have to see the value. At the moment you run a blog and in the blog and you have something like 500 unique visitors per month. I would say that's where it gets serious, because these are not your friends anymore and your family. There are people reading your stuff, and now it's up to you really to use that potential you already have and to let it grow and to find ways how to do that. And especially as using social media, you don't need a lot of money for the distribution, for marketing. You just need a lot of time to invest on Twitter, on Facebook and things like that. But if in the travel business, I think it's actually even very, very easy. I mean, how many people do you know who don't like to travel? There's no one. I mean, to sell travel, it's so easy. I'm not selling any insurances or things like that. It's you just have to ask, yeah, do you like to travel? And then you already have a like. Yes, that's the team behind me with 15, 16 editors worldwide. So I can't travel on my own anymore. I need people to travel, and yeah, I think they like it. What we did is like being one of the few who started. Well, not really blogging. I mean, blogging is there already for a long, long time. But blogging for me is now a bit new because now we have social media. It's a complete new start. And I was lucky to be one of the first and to grew. So we push it very, very hard as an own industry. In the past, there were always the conversations with a lot of journalists about blogging and journalists, always a fight, and that's in the end it's like, oh, I can't hear it anymore. I always like to say that it's same but different. The job is very similar with a lot of things, but in the end we are still different, and I think it is very, very important, if you want to take the whole potential out of it, to treat it as an own industry, and that's what we did in the last year. I don't know if you heard about Blockville. It's who haven't heard about it? Everyone? No, I don't think so. Well, Blockville is like me and Cash. We met. I have to show Cash. He's a really great guy. That's him over there. And we met Nicholas on a conference, and we just told them, okay, here, this is like how blog trips are run, and this is how you should do that, because there's so much more potential in it. Because we are not journalists, and we said. If you get me onto a blog trip and you take me into a museum, I won't tweet about that, I won't blog about it. Maybe I fell asleep. But that was the idea behind that. Take the travelers, which bloggers are, and give them a lot of freedom and let them do whatever they like. And if it's just like if they go and lie at the beach, they will blog about it. That's what most people do on holiday, they lie at the beach. Bloggers wouldn't probably even do that. They want action, they want to experience something. Give them the support and ask them what they want to do. Let them go kayaking, food session, food cooking, anything. A lot of times at the beginning we got the feedback from the DMOs and PR, okay, but will they write something? Well, if they go on a blog trip, will they write something? You don't know. If you invite a journalist, will he write something? You have no idea. Why did a blogger start to blog? Most of them not as a business who wants to do it full-time, because they love to travel and to love to share the experience. Invite them, have them the experience, they will blog about it. Easy as that. So what we did is we created Blogville, and we had like 2 apartments, always 1.5 months, 1 apartment, first in Bologna in Italy, and then to Emilia in Rimini, both in Emilia-Romagna, which is very centered in Italy. And we just provided a base for bloggers, and they had an apartment, I think, with 3 rooms, and they could book themselves in. So they arrived, they stayed maybe for 3 nights, maybe for 7 nights, as long as it was like what they wanted, or there was space for them. And then they asked, okay, what do you want from us for that? And Nicholas said, oh, nothing, just have a good fun time. In the end, we had, I think, 55 bloggers, and by now, and still posts coming out, over 360, 380 posts, blog posts. We reached over 8 million, I think I come to that again, there we are. We reached over 8 million people accounts on Twitter. Do you know what a tweet impression is? And do you know what those numbers mean? Because they are so impressive. For example, to give it an idea behind that, because a lot of people say Twitter impressions are not worth a lot. They are, if you combine them with the people you reach. For example, I have 115,000 followers. Let's say like you have 50,000 followers. You tweet once, you reach 50,000 people, and you created 50,000 impressions on Twitter. You tweet 5 minutes later again, you still reach 50,000 people, but you have 100,000 Twitter impressions. So the chances that those 50 people saw you are double. And that's what we did. We reached 80 million people. If we would just have like 1 million Twitter impressions, no one would have seen our tweets. But having over 75 million Twitter impressions, we pretty much reach most of those folks. Probably not 8 million, but let it be 6. Like the biggest TV shows in Germany, they have to reach those numbers first. So that's like, what happened there? Yeah, I still really don't get it. It's just like a lot of exposure. So, yes, at that time I've had that slide. That were like 280 published posts. I just got the last week, the latest figures, they were even bigger. But people don't just use Twitter, they use Instagram, they use Facebook, Pinterest. There are so many other platforms. They produce videos. So the exposure there, that's really just like the top of the iceberg. There's so much more behind that. And because that was such a successful campaign, which I was actually even a bit disappointed because we could have done even better, well, we do it this time. This year we've got also like, for half a year, 1 apartment in Bologna, and if you are going to Italy or something like that, be quick to go on the website, Blogville Emilia-Romagna, to get an apartment, because or like a space there, because I know a lot of people already want to go there. And we'll have this year also, I think, much more support from other people in the industry, from other tour operators, restaurants. So I think it will be a really, really good time. At Bologna and the Emilia-Romagna, I didn't know Emilia-Romagna where that is, but having so many bloggers last year there, I heard that a lot of times that this is their most favorite area of Italy after that. And there were people seeing the whole of Italy, and they said, wow, Emilia-Romagna, that's actually the Italy I was looking for. Because a lot of people go to Tuscany and to Florence, and they walk like that in masses of people. If you do, you will find pretty much the same kind of city atmosphere in Bologna, and also in the surrounding cities, but not so completely overrun. Amazing food, amazing people, all together, just like just a good time. So that was all a bit behind Travel Dudes and with the blogging and how it all works. Keith, Velvet Escape, who's in the middle at the top next to me, he's running Velvet Escape, the travel blog, the luxury travel blog, and he had an idea how we can promote a destination or like a business even better. and that's like pretty much what happened also in the past as a group. We work in social media because that's where we are strong if we push and help each other. So we created this marketing agency network with the 35, 40 best travel bloggers worldwide, and we go on different campaigns. For example, we were here invited by Cape Town, and their idea was like, how can we get the people to tweet about this amazing city? The Cape Townians love Cape Town. So what we did is, we had the hashtag Love Cape Town. We used us 4 bloggers traveling in 1 week. We were invited. It was very, very successful campaign because we worked very close with the traditional media together. We started with a small chat on Twitter where we just asked the Cape Townians, give us some good tips, and when we were traveling we tried to get that into our itinerary. With that, a lot of people always followed us, and people still use the hashtag, the Cape Townians love Cape Town. And that way, while traveling, just on Twitter, we reached over 1 million people. And I mean, my reply timeline, I can still handle that one, but at that time I wasn't anymore. The Cape Townians were so crazy, they were like spamming me with very, very great tips. I had no control anymore. It was really, really amazing to see. And there's also, again, that example, reaching 1 million people and 20 million impressions. That's a lot of impressions, so that we reach pretty much most of those folks just in that week. And we've calculated the return of investment just of the tweets of us 4, which was over 50,000 euros. There you can see that the value of a single tweet, or like tweets altogether, what this gives you. Of course, it's not just like always about the numbers, it's also about the relationship bloggers have with their readers. It's like, I think that's why blogging is so successful. A lot of people don't actually know when they go on blogs. Keith had a very good example. He was talking to his neighbor, and the neighbor said that he wouldn't get the info on blogs. And Keith said, okay, what do you do? And he said, well, I go on Google and I type in something and I go on a website, and there are these travelers, and they share like their experiences out of their own perspective. And Keith started to smile and said, well, that's a blog. A blog doesn't look the way a lot of people still think, where it's just like one post after the other. That's pretty much like you begin, but at the moment you get to the next level, it's a complete website. So it's more, you are at that moment also like a publisher. And I forgot what I wanted to say. So we did also get a couple of other campaigns where we promoted, for example, the Melvin resorts. So we had like 4 bloggers. One was going to Hamburg, that was me. We had one going to Phuket, one to Amsterdam. We had Kasper, an amazing video guy. He does really, really cool videos. If you want to, well, I think you really have to find that one later. It's a long short of time. If you Google that, I'm pretty sure you will find it. It's so much fun to watch him. It's such a talented guy. Well, and we were in all those different areas around the world on different days, because it was a very short planned campaign, and well, you don't always need to do the direct marketing at that moment. And that's also what, with Ambassador, what we do. We have like 4 stages of promotion. It's the promotion before a trip, where we post something, hey, we are going next week there and there. That post is so important because the people suddenly realize, oh, okay, they're on the road, we have to follow them. Then the second stage is really also direct marketing, when we use Twitter on the road, when we get the devices. And then of course there's also the marketing afterwards, when we post all our blog posts. Most of the times the first one goes out after 1 week. But even after half a year, after 1 year, the posts still follow. And I think that's also the nice thing about travel bloggers compared to print media. If you invite one, like a journalist, he writes 1 post. If you invite a blogger and he loves it, he will write more than 1 post. He will write 3 or 4, and after half a year he's still like, oh, suddenly he saw a photo of a destination and he published something else again. And yeah, and that way we were around in Melvin hotels, and then we decided 2 days where we were all online when we promoted it, very much focused, not just like on the resorts, because we are not travel agents, we promoted the destination. Of course, always with this combination to Mövenpick, just because of the hashtag already, we had also like reviews about the hotels, which were not the focus. It was more the experience you can have in Phuket, for example. May, she traveled in those 2 or 3 days. She's seen every beach of Phuket, and she wrote an amazing post just about that. So, 2 days promotion, we reached over 800,000 people on Twitter again with 20 million impressions. That is also, yeah, I love that. Just like in December here, we got invited to Scotland, and they wanted us to promote it as a winter destination. And I said, are you crazy? Scotland as a winter destination? That can't really work. Actually, I've seen the sun up there more than in Germany since October. And we had an amazing time. It's one of the biggest New Year's festivals in the world, and they party for 3 days. I wear skirts. And what we did is like we had 8 ambassador bloggers who are bringing the exposure and the value because we've got all the followers. And then we invited around 16 local bloggers from the UK who don't have maybe the exposure but the quality. And those people got us the content, we could promote it easily. And it was I think our most successful campaign for just traveling a week, where we, in that combination, of course it was a very big planned campaign, but we reached 4 million people like that with 80 million impressions. But not just like that, we even reached 1 million people just on Instagram already. Instagram, I think, is one of the websites and platforms which is like in a real boom. There are people just like getting invited to destinations because they are good on Instagram. Forget about blogging or Twitter or this and that. The whole industry is like got so many different niches. And while we were traveling here, we created over like 1,100 photos. And I think that is also something like if you want, as coming from the industry and you want to work with travel bloggers, it's not that you just need or use the travel bloggers to publish their post on their site. The travel bloggers can create amazing content for you on your website. And very good example, I think they could have done much, much better, but for example, G Adventures did that, a very big tour operator, adventure tour operator. They had travel bloggers and we were invited to their tours, and they used also our content on their website, and where people could see, okay, this is like, this and this travel blogger, I read his blog anyway, and he's doing this tour now, that's like what he experiences. And if this guy can experience it, well, we can do as well. That was just like 3 weeks ago. We worked with a German tourism board where we invited also like a couple of you here in the room to Belgrade, and just like to push a new website for the German national, for the tourism board, youth campaign. I think it just shows in the end how creative you can be. We had the Google Hangout with the bloggers in Germany. Well, the connection fell down in between, but just like the possibilities you have are just like really, really big. I think in 4 weeks we pretty much do the same again in Brazil, where we also will try to have the Hangout again. And also with the regional teams, like, yeah, we have all the connections through our community so that we can work also. We know around 200 bloggers just in Brazil. We know now people here in Romania, in Serbia, Croatia, and I think the strength of social and blogging is that we can work as a community. I've seen a lot of times when on local communities that they are very much focused on themselves. Also the Brazilian market was very typical on that. I would recommend you to broaden it and to go maybe on the Global Bloggers Network with Keith Creator, on the Facebook group, and learn from the others, get in contact with them. You will be surprised how much you can get out of it, how many tips, because there's so, on the international level there are all the pros with all the experience, and you can learn a lot from them, you can ask them, but even furthermore, you can partner up with them, you can help each other. And well, above that, it's also like a lot of fun. End of May is the Travel Bloggers Unite conference in Rotterdam. I don't know if you've heard about TBU. We have also, well, there's also TBEX, which is in Dublin in, I think in September or something like that. I would recommend everyone to go there. You learn a lot from the sessions, from the presentations we have. They're like top guys speaking, but it's also you meet the people from the industry to work with you together. And furthermore, it's a fun time, and you meet amazing people, amazing bloggers, and it's a lot about networking also after that, which brings you forward big time. In the end, it's everything what we do is also about relationship, building up a relationship. You can't expect to go to a tour operator or maybe to the conference and say, okay, now here I am, and I've got this blog, and now, well, give me a free trip or some, pay me even or something like that. It's like, it takes a lot of time, but it's worth it, and it's like, from time to time you get a step further ahead, and being on those conferences, if it's ITB, WTN, TBU, TBEX, whatever there is, it's really good. Or do your own conferences. It's very easy, have tweet ups. Once a month here in Bucharest, invite the people on via Facebook, whatever, and try also to connect, very important, with the industry, because the industry are really there now and want to work together with you. If you still have questions about iAmbassador, just go onto the website. We also have the case studies there again. Now a bit also about the success, where I think I can share just like a bit of my experience. These are pretty much the channels I use with a focus on Twitter, so I will have that one now as well. That's just some stats, like that people just love to book and inform themselves online. Interesting is, bloggers are actually Google. The search engines live off very good results. A few years ago, when I wanted to look up a place to stay, the first 5 results were maybe TripAdvisor, Holiday Shack, or I don't know what. I don't want to see those. I want one of those results, and then I want other options. So the search engines had this trouble to give very good results, because they, if you're unhappy with the search result, maybe you go to the next one. And that's when, in the past, Google started to integrate Twitter in their search results. That means the people you follow, they were also like in your search results. They started now with Google Plus and took Twitter out again, but for me it's just a question of time until they will include it again, because Google Plus is quite good, but I think it's, when Facebook comes now with their own search engine, there will be a change again, and they will go back also to integrate others. And I did this search for myself when I was logged in, and it says like travel Bangkok, and you see with the red arrows, at the top there were the people I know. The photos were posted from people I know, and at the bottom there was another link to, that one was even Google+. Travel bloggers are so much into social media, and they have so many followers, made so many fans, they can get you onto the front page and of Google. And especially like in the next 1-2 years, this will get bigger and bigger. How to get there as a travel blogger is like, that's the blog from Keith, and you see on the left side the social media buttons. You don't do the marketing yourself. There are people who love reading your post and to share it, but you have to give them the possibility to have the social media buttons to share it. So what happens is, maybe the screen, if you're on, working or something like that, will look very much like that, or maybe your resolution is very small, and suddenly you don't see the tweet buttons anymore and the social media buttons. You have to check that. In Google Analytics, you can see your readership, how many people, the people, what resolution they use. And then put your screen on your blog into the resolution your users see as well. And if they don't see suddenly the tweet buttons on the left side anymore, and you see something like that, you miss an opportunity for free marketing. The tweet buttons itself, you have to, well, you have to remember that. I mean, just to go back again, I mean, what you could do is, of course, like you can widen the window to get the social buttons back again. But we are working online. and people are damn lazy online. They don't want to work, they don't want to change the window, and the same here. If people use the tweet button on the up at the one at the top, it says -14. You are not able to tweet that at this moment. There are too many characters. So what do you have to do? You have to delete. As a user, you don't want to do that. Maybe you do it once or twice, but if that happens all the time, you just click X and the button is gone. You see that she's using the title, and then it's got a slash, and it says "Chris Around the World: Your Guide to Value Luxury Vacations." All right. I mean, if I click on the link, I know where I'm going. She doesn't need to tell me. The same at the end. It says via CAC around the world. So it's pretty much what she's saying at the top already. So the big stuff, the big line, "Chris Around the World: Your Guide to Value Luxury Vacations," that has nothing to do in the tweet button. It's useless information because the people go on your website anyway, and they know you from your profile picture. It says everywhere who you are. The one beneath is actually from the Matador network. It's got the title and then the slash again, and it says Matador network. You would be able to tweet that, but they missed another very, very big opportunity. Their username is @Matador network. Why not use the @? They won't follow us. You won't follow us. Don't just use your name, but your profile name, because at that moment people can click it and can follow you right away. Matador network does a very, very bad job at that moment. They miss a lot of followers just because of that. Some examples, which I think they do it very nicely. Dave and Deb, the Planet D at the top. They've got, when you use the tweet button, you've got the title, 7 Crazy Adventures in Scotland, and then they've got the long URL which gets shortened automatically on Twitter, and then it says via the Planet D. And they even use the hashtag travel. The hashtag travel is very, very important as well, because people watch and learn and searches this hashtag. But it's not just like the readers who even do that, it's also the search engines who go for that. Christy and Cully, they are a step ahead. They use bit.ly, which is an URL shortener. So you have, at that moment, you can see in the stats how many people actually clicked on your post. What the Planet D is doing, they miss that kind of information. Sometimes it gives you very good value back as feedback. What do people click on and what not? And they even use the hashtag Ireland. So when I want to travel to Ireland, I will put in the hashtag travel Ireland. And the search results will be, wow, just what I'm looking for. With my website, because it's a kind of a community, what I do, I've got the hashtags. For example, that's a photo post. It says travel photo, and the title, of course, and it says on Travel Dudes, because it's not my post alone, but I do, of course, the marketing and advertising for me. Then I've got my own URL shortener. I have no idea how I got that. It's the IT guys. And it's because someone else shared that tip. It's what I put in automatically is their username is, at the moment, they connect with their profile on Travel Dudes to their Twitter account. And it says via Stu Jack Z. And this guy, every time someone tweets that and I retweet it, he gets new followers because he's connected. So, yeah, just some info like how I really like to run it. I think the most important thing is when using social media, not just like Twitter for everything, be yourself and have a lot of fun. If people just don't like you, don't even pretend to be someone else, it won't work. And on Twitter itself, for me, it's like a lot about, it's also just in that follow, in that number. It's, when I go on Twitter, I start chatting. You know, with a Twitter timeline, it goes down. The posts, the updated post is always at the top, the last one you've tweeted. So what I start is with chatting. I check who can I check, who can I reply now, and that one is not really of interest for the other followers, so it's down already. Then what I do is retweet. I retweet really good posts about travel from other travel bloggers, which I want to share with my followers. That moment I push the travel bloggers, they appreciate that and they push me as well. But in the end, as it's still a business, the last tweet is always Travel Dudes. Luckily for me, because working in that with the kind of community I push at that moment a travel blogger again. But at the moment you go onto your stream, you find the latest tweet of Travel Dudes always at the top. This whole structure changes a bit at the moment you get like more and more followers with the time. At the moment you've got like a lot of followers, you don't want to chat anymore. If I still ask like a question, hey, what's going on, this and that, suddenly I get like so many replies, I can't answer them anymore, but that's of course what I want to do. And when someone contacts me and I don't reply, it's like, oh, there's something missing. But so you have to be careful about also like what you tweet and how to interact, and with the more followers this changes. Myself, I find it very, very important to follow back. I had that with a very, very long discussion in the middle of the night with a travel blogger, and she had a presentation just about that the next morning. And she went to bed, had something like 4 hours sleep, and she still changed the presentation because of our discussion, because she said not to follow back everyone. I think what is very important with Twitter and everything, you have to find your own way how to handle it. For me, it's like very important to follow back, because then I can give the people the possibility to contact me in private. I don't want to have everything in public, and as a tour operator, as a business, that's just the same. If I've got like an airline running and the flights are delayed, well, I would prefer if the people contact me via DM in private, instead of shouting it out to everyone how big you suck. And that the delay is already like 3-4 hours and there's no drinks. Let them contact you in private. So I would always recommend, give them the possibilities to contact you. I send out automatic DMs for every new follower. I guess everyone gets those. Oh, look at my new website. Look at this, what I do, blah, blah, blah. No one clicks on those. Don't do anything you don't want to have. You can still use auto DMs. What I do, and I get feedback all the time, and they even tweet my auto DMs. It's a travel quote. I welcome my followers. I would love to contact everyone personal. I don't have the time for that. But I still want to give them the feeling, yes, I take care of that, and I want to be in that personal touch somehow. So, but I also don't want to spam them, so I just send out, yeah, I haven't been there, but it's on my list. Travel quotes, people love travel quotes. So it's a nice way just like to welcome your people. Something else what I found very interesting is the website at the bottom. It's fakers.statuspeople.com. There you can see if someone on Twitter got false followers. Lady Gaga, I think, got 30% false followers. Very interesting. We met someone also in the travel industry. She had something like 26,000 followers, and she made like a lot of trouble with the tourism board and attacked us and this and that. So I just checked her up. It was 70% false followers and 20% inactive. So in the end, there was no one left really listening to her. She bought all her followers. And that it's not just like always just about the number of followers. It's also about the quality. So it's, and especially like if you're in a niche, you don't even need this big amount of followers. If you are going to fly fishing and you've got 500 people following you, this is a very targeted group and a very valuable group. Talking about values, what we've realized is, in the past is, I've said that already in the beginning, I run a big magazine, a big newspaper. Maybe you know about the return of investment, the AVE model, how it's used in print media. You've got a banner advertising, you've got a big article, you take the banner, well, the advertising value of the same size, and you put it onto the newspaper and see how much the advertising would cost, and that's your return of investment. We were laughing about this formula, and we thought, okay, what is missing there is like, no one knows how many people read it. What we created, and realizing that we work in social media, or maybe just to this example, I was on a blog trip and the PR people came back to me and they said, well, we calculated your ROI on the figures of your media kit. Every blogger here should have a media kit, at least an about page, and if you are on an about page, give your name. People want to contact you, not just like a photo and I'm traveling here or there. Give them the personal touch and a media kit with all the different information you have to can offer. Go on other bloggers, go and download my media kit, whatever, it's at the bottom, at the footer. Get some examples how different media kits look like. Beers and Beans Travel, they've got an amazing media kit. People copy them. Really, really good. Well, what happened is that in my media kits, it says my banner advertising on the right got that and that value, and this PR agency just took that size and put it onto my website. And you see it on the left, it's so small, but my blog, the article is so much bigger, and the value they were missing is actually the red around it. And first I was laughing, and then I realized, man, they are ruining me. So, but they are not just like ruining me, actually I think it's a problem of the whole online media. Everywhere around the world the media is going down with the newspapers, they don't know how to make money online. That's because they don't know the value online. And we work with the internet since the 90s, and so far there's not one formula going close to what we've created. I've contacted all the people I know in the branch, marketing, PR, DMOs. How do you value what we post and how we promote you? And they say, oh, it's a feeling. It's a guess. It's like maybe tweet reached the number, but there was no actual formula behind that. So Keith and me, we sat down and we calculated it. As an example, I've worked in a local newspaper, and they sell 30,000 newspapers every day. That's close to 1 million newspapers a month. That's a lot of paper, but it's only 30 unique visitors, 30,000. I have so many more. The newspaper had 50 people staff, and I run Travel Dudes pretty much alone full-time, and with a few people helping me, but definitely not in the size of the newspaper. The newspaper had 50 people there. I always like to say that the boss, he drove a Porsche Cayenne, his wife a BMW Cabriolet, and his secret girlfriend had maybe a Golf GTI or something like that. I don't have any of those cars. This is also just like to give you an example again about the value you find on print media and on online. Now, when I go on a web trip, on a blog trip, without doing a lot of extra work, I create a value of 25,000 euros. A lot of people would first say, wow, that's a lot of money for inviting a blogger for maybe 4 days, 7 days. Yeah, sounds like it. If you compare that again to a print magazine, I know a magazine, they printed 1,000. You don't know how many people actually buy them, and especially you have no idea how many people actually saw this advertising, this article in that magazine. An advertising over the full page cost $60,000. Compare that one to inviting maybe a blogger or doing something online with a post which gets like 15,000 actual views, because you can read that if a post goes viral. That is not a number like in a month, but you can get like 15,000 actual views on a popular blog in half a year or 1 year. That's possible. That's realistic figures. And it's not just about that, you also have tweets, you have Facebook, and so much extra value. If you put that all together, it's easily that you create a value of 16,000 euros as a pro blogger. But you will be even amazed with hobby bloggers. They easily create you a value of 2,000–3,000 euros just with doing the same kind of work. If you compare that again to the 60,000 in print media, you will realize, wow, that's really, really good value you can get online. Well, you can just, I think we run out of time, I think you can just go online on the ROI calculator. So far it's still like in a beta version. I just got an email this morning to check out the next version. We have to see how that works. So far it's still like very complicated to give all the numbers in. You need a lot of extra info. We try to make it as easy as possible. The formula we've created is definitely not perfect, but it's so far the best you can have online to see the value. And we work on that, and we are very happy to get also feedback from others to make it even better. There's so many things to include right now. We have the online content, and also like for Twitter, we work right now on Facebook. We want to integrate, of course, video. We want to have e-books and, well, everything what is out there. But of course, that's like a lot of work. Yeah, that was it. Thank you. Any questions? You want a microphone, maybe? Questions? Hi.
I have two questions. One, how can you check the fake followers? How can I check that a followers is fake or is true?
Well, it's that website. I mean, I can just go back again. The figures they use is, of course, not like 100% correct. Where was it?
No, I think before. Before that.
Down there,
Yeah.
fakers.statuspeople.com. What they do is they calculate always on Twitter. You have when you want to get information, they just can get onto 1,000 of your followers or of that account, and then they see of the percentage of those, and then they just put it up. The numbers are of course not 100% correct, but it gives you a very good feeling how it is. It's similar with what we use here for the value of tweets. Cloud, for example. A lot of people know Cloud. Some bloggers have a lot of fun. It's called cloud bombing. I can give you Cloud score because you know everything about socks. And you don't, maybe. You just wear them.
Definitely.
And if there are like 10, 15 bloggers, they can bomb you and suddenly you go back online and you are the expert of socks. Yeah. Happened. Luckily not to me yet. So what we do is we don't just like, and that's also with the fakes followers, you can't trust just one, but because there's peer index, there's cred, and there are also other platforms. And if you check on a blogger and you combine them, at the moment I'm good in Cloud and at peer index and at cred, it's pretty much, you can't fake all of them. And yeah.
But I think it's not very easy to find those ones which are not real. So to decide who is fake and who is real followers. That was
yeah.
idea.
Well, you need, in the end, you need a
Yeah, the
website
system.
to check it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to do
Yeah.
that thing. And the second question is more private, and if it's not a secret, can I ask you which is your yearly income?
My yearly income? Well, I get along.
I'm a better of figures, so.
Well, right, I couldn't even say it right now, but it's good. No,
Generally, average.
no, seriously, I couldn't say it right now. But the thing is, it's all evolving right now. It's really in a very big developing. What we've created with iAmbassador is like, in the past, bloggers had the trouble really to make a living. The industry people need to understand a bit more behind that. What we do with iAmbassador, we have complete marketing campaigns. And that way, of course, we can also charge it. We do the organization of it. We come up with a concept which is always successful. So we offer so much more. In the end, we don't get paid for writing right away, but for the work we invest. And you have to see, most bloggers work alone. And in print media, it works the same way. You pay also the journalist. If you invite them, maybe not directly like that, but if at the moment you see an article, I've just seen that on the way here on the newspaper, it was about business, blah, 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 and you maybe put advertising into the newspaper. You've got this relationship. Well, but that's what the industry missed in the past. They wanted to act and work with the bloggers, but they didn't give them any advertising. And I think what happened in the last year, it changed a lot. So far, a lot of bloggers always work with PR people. A blog is much more. A blog is run by one person. He does everything. He does marketing, he does SEO, he does video, photo, writing. So that's also important for the budget. If you work with a blogger, you need a PR budget, but also marketing budget. And then you have to combine that, and you have to see the value you got out of that as well.
Thank you, you are that moment. And the third one, I shall ask you, really I want to join your conference. You told it Tuesday or Thursday. You say you have each week 1 day for a large conference with the other.
Yes, the travel.
After that, I shall ask you more details because really I want to join you.
Yeah, but the thing is, like with TTOT, it makes it the background of that. I've seen that people start using the hashtag LP for Lonely Planet because they wanted a retweet, because they had so many followers, and a retweet of them gives you traffic. But seeing what social media, the strength is, that suddenly every one of us got a voice, and that's why I've said, okay, forget about that, we start TTOT. First it was just a chat, but now it's the second biggest and strongest hashtag. People new in the industry, in Twitter, they have no idea what TTOT is, of course. In the end, it's Travel Talk on Twitter, but if you check it, I think it's the second strongest after hashtag travel itself. I get a lot of contacts who wants to sponsor TTOT. That's not why we've created it. Everyone can join. Everyone, it's really just about the passion and sharing. At that moment, you do it as a tour operator, and you don't say, oh, this is like the tours we have. It's very, very good, and it's very cheap. Just go online, have fun. You can even post links, maybe funny photos. It's like, I think like, yeah. Once I had a friend staying with me, and he surprised me, and I had to do TTOT. And he was laughing at me, because I was sitting there, laughing at the computer. It's, I think if I would see myself, I was like ashamed of like laughing at my own computer. But we have this interaction, and it happens so many times that people tell me, I was laughing so loud, and I had such a great time. I've never had something similar experience online.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Hello, Melvin. My name is Julian. First of all, thank you very much for this presentation, very inspiring. I want to ask you, how do you find the inspiration for the hashtag? I mean, did you do like a brainstorming or something like that?
For TTOT?
Yeah, yeah.
That's already like 2-3 years ago. I can't remember. I think we first had one Twitter travel talk, something like that. So we were in contact with Twitter, and they said that they would like to have it a bit different, not so much on focus on Twitter. So we just put it onto the end. We just came up with it. There was another very big chat, which is like on a Thursday, and I mean they just like they played a nasty game behind the scenes and stuff like that. I was part of that at the beginning, and we had so much fun, but they misused everyone and the community. When we said, okay, I know all the people, we just start something on our own, and it just got so big. With the hashtags itself, it's very important if you go on a blog trip or this and that your partner which invited you or yourself, that you create your own hashtag. It's just be a bit creative, like what we did with Love Cape Town or in Costa Brava, which is very easy to use. It's very important that not other people use it, because then it wouldn't show you the exact figures. It's for some reason it's important that you can track it afterwards, so that you can say, oh, we reached so many people, so many retweets, you got these kind of figures. You get them sometimes even for free on the website, and then they've got the pro versions. Of course, it shouldn't be too long, that people don't just like delete it because they can't retweet it. So it should be short, it should be understandable, and if you can get a message into it at that moment as well, perfect.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Well, thank you.